What's good, y'all? It's Prez. I see y'all joining. I'm going to wait a second for people to join. We will start shortly, which will conveniently give my heart some time to recover from the damage that was done to it by that fucking second half and fourth quarter. Oh my God. Knicks dub. Suck it, Detroit. Suck it, Cade. Suck it, refs. Suck it, State of Michigan. Suck it, Great Lakes. That shit was crazy. I got a bunch of notes. I don't even know if I'm going to use them. All right. Well, we can get into it. Normally, I would start at the beginning, but not today. We're going to start with the bullshit that started the whole second half and Brunson's injury. There's a couple of big tactical storylines in the game, and we'll get to the shot making, but all of that shit to me is secondary to the ref show. Normally, I don't even care about the refs letting teams. I don't care if they call a lot of fouls or if they call little fouls, as long as they call it even. And honestly, like, I thought, even though Brunson was getting hacked quite a lot, I thought it was pretty even for a lot of the game. But at some point, probably early in the third quarter, it escalated from even and physical to just straight up encouraging reckless play and danger. And the Pistons are one of the most foul-prone teams in the NBA. They love fucking boxing out. They love getting physical. They love hip checks. They love getting handsy, which is cool. But normally the downside of that is they give up a bazillion fucking free throws. And the Knicks took, I don't know how many they ended up with. I have to look it up. They took some level of free throws, but like in the second half, you could just see dangerous plays happening. Guys were diving into the Knicks. Even after Brunson came out, Jalen Duren hip checked Josh Hart in the air under the hoop. No, there was no review of that, but that's the kind of play that easily, it was no harm, no foul. Thankfully, Josh Hart didn't get hurt, but there was a bunch of plays like that where guys will just get hurt, not because the Pistons are trying to hurt the Knicks, but because in a playoff game, when your back's against the wall and if you're a handsy team that likes to foul, you're going to keep doing that shit until the refs make you stop. And if the refs don't stop, you're going to keep doing that shit, and eventually someone's going to get hurt, right? Jalen Duren's a fucking 250-pound 19-year-old who's still figuring out how to fucking move his body on a professional basketball court. And, you got a bunch of other Pistons flying around doing wild shit. You got Tobias grabbing every fucking play because they're allowed to. And Jalen Brunson was hurt. Dennis Schroder dove for a loose ball. That's fine. Dive for a loose ball, whatever. But in trying to grab it, he rolls over Jalen Brunson's leg. That's the type of play that you're more comfortable doing in a game where the refs decide to step out. So I don't think Schroder intended to hurt Brunson, but he hurt Brunson. And after that, the shit unraveled. We got some crazy lineups that Tibbs has never unleashed before. We got some no center lineups, 5-out lineups, all types of shit. And you could tell, it was I won't get into a Tibbs thing right now, but it was one of those things where the Knicks were figuring out these configurations on the fly because of foul trouble, because we don't really experiment with that kind of stuff in the regular season. Detroit started to cook a little bit. JB Bickerstaff, who I thought mostly, he had a couple of smart adjustments throughout the game, but he had a couple of dumb ones. And, he did some things during that run that helped the Pistons out. And my God, it didn't fucking matter. As soon as Jalen Brunson came back in, it didn't matter. All of that shit didn't matter. The refs didn't matter. The Pistons defense didn't matter. The crowd didn't matter. He just cooked. He was cooking at the rim. He was passing just like he was to start the game. It wasn't just Brunson ISO ball at the top. It was quick decisions to drive and then pass and then drive and then shoot. Then Cat, man, that over the backboard fadeaway, absolutely bonkers. Pull-up three. This man has been ass at pull-up threes the whole season. I don't think he's made more than 10 on the season. And he hits the biggest three of the season to put the Knicks up. And just put it away for the Knicks. And the Knicks got to stop when they needed it. OG one-on-one defense Cade. I thought it was going to drop, but the mid-range game is fickle unless you're, Kevin Durant or Jalen Brunson. The reason Cade's not an efficient player is because all he does is take mid-range shots, and some days they go in and some days they don't, man. So against OG, it's hard. OG locked him in the last possession. What a finish. What a finish. Detroit tears. How tasty they are. Last time I did the rundown for game 3, I completely ignored the comments. So I don't plan on doing that this time around. So let me see what y'all got. Kenny says Mikal 2 contested threes were low-key huge. Yeah, so the second storyline of this game, aside from the finish and the physicality to me, was, the Knicks process was pretty fucking good in the first half. They should have been up by a shit ton, but they were just bricking. After the first quarter, I think OG, Mikal, Deuce, and Cat were 2 of 14 for 3. And inside the arc, outside the arc, they were getting good shots that they just couldn't make. And Mikal, especially, my God, going into the fourth quarter, I don't even know his stat line, but those 2 contested threes were insane. You're right. Those juiced the comeback. That was crazy. Jordan, Jalen Brunson today, 32 points, 11 assists, 5 rebounds. Yeah, what a game, right? He pressed the right buttons. Oh shit, OG Bozo in the building.
Prez, what's up?
How long have you had a mullet, bro?
Bro, forever now. You've been missing out.
I have been missing out. It looks good. Just like Jalen Brunson's shooting looks good.
Hell yeah. Man, this was a great win. I love all the agendas that happened. This is a great agenda win.
It is a great agenda win, but I'm just happy we fucking won, man, because whether it's just the point I was about to... Huh?
I felt like we had no business winning that game.
I mean, we had certainly uphill sledding winning it, but you're right. We couldn't buy a shot. We had good shots that just wouldn't go in, and then all the fucking ref fuckery and Brunson getting hurt. And you're right. Cade started to play a little better in the second half. And it didn't, like I was saying, it didn't fucking matter because Jalen Brunson and Kat said they just put it on the table and said, y'all can't fuck with us.
It was great. Oh man, it was absolutely wonderful getting the Brunson shots, all the town shots. And I think the greatest one of them all was the no call that the ref said at the end of the game on
it was poetic. It was
perfect.
They're not gonna call that. They're not gonna call that shit on anyone, much less in a game where they're basically allowing fucking manslaughter every other play. Get the fuck out of here.
Right. Not only are they not gonna allow that, if they had the challenge and you go to replay, they win the challenge because it's really hard to overturn as well. That type of foul in the
the Knicks win, you mean, or the Pistons?
No, the Pistons one. So remember back 5 minutes into the first quarter, JD Bickerstaff challenges.
Oh yeah, he wasted it. Yeah, even the refs the announcers were like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, completely wasted it. So now you have the Tim Hardaway Jr. thing. Hart closes out really hard. He brushes him, right? And I think, as you just said, as we're watching the game, it's not a foul in the greater context of the game, given how much was allowed. Actually, this entire series. But if Bickerstaff has the challenge, he probably wins that as a challenge, and Hardaway goes to the line because it'd be hard to overturn because it's textbook type of pump fake. You know what I mean? It's one of those classic textbook fouls that you would get on an overturn, and they didn't have the challenge to do it. So he's just storming on the court being like, how'd you miss it? And it's of course you missed it. You're not getting the call.
Kenny points out in the comments that they couldn't actually challenge it even if they had it because it was a no call. And one of the rules, you can't challenge it, which I understand because I feel like if you allow teams to challenge no calls, then there's so many uncalled fouls by the book on any
No,
single
you're right.
play
You're right.
that
You're
like.
right.
But yeah, no, that was it wasn't even prison. First 3 quarters, bro. The fucking fourth quarter was prison
The
ball.
entire the entire game was that, right? And it's been like that the entire series. I didn't know what the spread was.
The difference though was how like it's been prison ball the entire series, but like how the refs approach the prison ball has changed drastically. Like last game,
Yes.
there was like
Yes.
80,000 free throws because the refs were like, "Oh shit, someone's gonna
What do
fucking
we
get hurt
do?
out here. Let's make sure nobody gets hurt." And then this
Today
game, they
they're
were
like,
like,
"That's
"Yo,
fine."
what if we didn't care?" Right?
Yeah. What if we didn't care? What if Jalen Brunson like rolls his ankle again? Right? Like that's basically the type of shit it was. And I'm fine with like that's. I'm ultimately fine with that. I didn't like last game because they they gave like those like really lame ticky tack fouls when you're playing a really physical
Yeah, it
game.
was a lot of
That you
fouls.
right. It was like one of those things. It's like you can't call those. Like today they didn't call them, which does favor to the Pistons. Just the Knicks just outwork them basically, in spite of Thibodeau, I guess, allowing Towns in that third quarter to constantly force the issue. But I want to ask you this. This is something I want to ask you. Do you like the strategy of a team when they know a team is playing physical, try to get the refs to make the call? Because that's
Within
been Tibbs'
reason.
right? Like that's been
Within
Tibbs'
reason.
adjustment pretty much every single game. It's not they're not doing anything like tactically. It's just more of like, well, Pistons are physical. Let's force them to be even more physical. But then the refs don't call it, and Tibbs is like, well, we'll keep doing it. But then you start wasting possessions on offense, like Town was doing in the third. And like I don't like that strategy. I think I don't think it's smart in basketball in 2025.
Yeah, I don't I agree, but I think if you ask Tibbs like if you asked he would never say this, but like if you gave Tibbs truth serum, he'd be like, yeah, try to draw fouls, cat, but don't take stupid fucking shots in triple teams,
yes.
you know, or do what Brunson did in game 1 and 2 when he was just like spending the entire game foul grifting. But like Tibbs did some like to start the first play of the game, just like last game actually, was a cross screen to get Cat the ball. And in the beginning of they did that twice to start out game 3, and it was immediately 2 Pistons fouls. I think to the first play of this game, it was a Cat made a shot, I think, but like there's stuff like that you can do because you know the Pistons are just going to be handsy and shit. But like, yeah, it's definitely a delicate because you kind of have to like with the Pistons, right? Like they give up some of the higher free throw rate numbers in the league, and this is why, because teams are like, okay, like we're gonna, and they're young as well, and they're like always fucking excited and athletic, so like it's easy for a lot of them to pretty much the only guys who are like capable of being calm at any given minute on the Pistons are like Cade and Schroder. Which, as an aside, I thought the funniest moment of the game was when one of my young sons, Ron Holland, who's 19, was angry at Cat for fouling him, and Cade like if any other player if a Knick pushed Ron Holland as hard as Cade pushed Ron Holland, they would be ejected. Cade was like, boy, if you don't get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Yeah, that was actually
it really annoys me, but I respected that. I was like, okay, like there's times to talk to your kids, and there's times to just be like, yo, get the fuck out of here. Like, what are you doing?
I thought that was great, and I was watching the ESPN broadcast. They were very much like, this actually good leadership from Cunningham, and I usually hate when like certain broadcasts talk about like leadership and shit like that, but I actually was like, no, that actually makes sense because Ron Holland was ready to go get a technical for
100%
for a hard playoff basketball foul, basically. And he's like, how dare you do it? And Kate's like, no, stop, don't be dumb. Please don't be dumb. Please don't be dumb. Like, I don't have time for this. It was great. It was very funny too.
It was, but yeah, back to the end of the game, like I don't even know what there is to say about the Brunson shot making. That was like,
no, it was insane.
Like we've seen him do this over and over again all year, and it's every time it's like equally. It's like the first time I've ever seen it. Just like, oh my god, I didn't know. Like, is that Kobe Bryant? Like, what is happening? He's basically short Kobe. Like,
it's really insane that like watching this Knicks team, like we as fans really have like a guy we can really like be like, no, he can just win us the game. right? Like it doesn't really matter the situation. It doesn't matter how old school Tibbs is being. It doesn't really matter if the Pistons are being handsy or the refs are allowing all this like prison ball. You just kind of like Jalen Brunson's going to make the shot. And that's crazy that we get to watch that on a nightly basis. Like we have like that level of star on this Knicks team. And he's still being underrated. And he's underrated still somehow. Like I don't understand it, but like we appreciate it at least. At bare minimum, Knicks fans appreciate how great Jalen Brunson is. It's insane.
Yeah, and I like that he was not spending too much time dribbling beforehand, because sometimes he's done that as well. Like he's like, I'm gonna win the game, but it's like real Kobe style where it's just like I'm waiting it out 12, 11, 10, 9, then I cook. But he kind of just like went today, and it's good because Hart was still out there. So like if the Pistons are smart, they help off Hart. Duran has had a lot of difficulty in the crunch time figuring out exactly how much to help off Hart. So I think this was intentional by Brunson and Tibbs to just be like, all right, do your Superman thing, but like go, because they're not like, they can't process what's happening fast enough. So, shout out to them intentionally or not for adjusting that way. And then when the Pistons did play good defense, this guy passed it at the right time and got it to Cat. Or OG. He had one play where he got it to OG for a tough curl, and OG, who had a very up and down game, shooting, finishing, made that really tough layup for him.
That was a tough layup, yeah.
I mean, that's a tough layup for anyone, and he's very streaky when it comes to finishing, so especially tough for him. Jordan in the chat says, Mikal Bridges in the fourth, 6 points, 2 of 2, 3, 2 steals. Man, what an up and down game for Mikal. Like
he was so bad the first half, like god awful.
It was crazy, bro. And it was like it was actually a lot of good shots too.
Yeah, but these were all like clean shots too. Like they were like
make a three, maybe don't get your shot punched, right?
And just the way he's been going up for layups too, right? Like it's been so weak. It feels like Cade has blocked Mikal, I don't know, 10 times already in the past 2 games. Like he just doesn't always go up strong, but then like he shows up in these moments, and you're just like, oh, okay, and it's all fine.
Yeah, he needed like literally the only way he can make up for just breaking that much. And on defense, I thought he was better in the second half than the first half.
He was better in the second half. He was not good in the first half, and he started off pretty rough on Cade into like that crunch time in the fourth. I didn't think his defense was ultimately that good, but eventually they went back to OG to close out on him, and then it kind of like balanced out for Mikal. But yeah, it was rough, but he made the shots when it mattered. He got on the floor
when it mattered.
So
much harder, dude, than the easy ones that he bricked. It was crazy.
His shot that he gets to do his 2-step turn in the corner on those like those curls basically, like are insane. Like those are the shots I used to always try to practice them when I used to play, and you never make that shot, and it's a really hard shot, and I just love that he makes that like look so easy.
Was literally perfect defense by the Pistons. Like their hands were in his face without fouling, but like his release is so high that like
it's crazy. Like it doesn't matter because like they get him right in the corner where you want him to, and he's falling out. It's just a tough shot, and he just makes it. And it's like those. I love when you make that shot because it's so demoralizing. And it was great that like that's when it mattered.
We have a question. What's the plus minus of host acknowledging the chat? Well, since I did 0 chat acknowledging in the game 3 post game, and I have acknowledged it from the start, you can do the math on that. We got another comment here. Man, I miss Philly Deuce. He had an up and down game, but like after he hit that first 3, he took that shit with mad confidence.
And then he stopped after that.
I feel bad for him on some level. Like on some level, it's like, yo, you gotta just make your shots, right? Like 1 of 4, all threes. Got a free throw. Didn't really do much else. Only played 9 minutes. I feel a little weird for him because he's now playing mostly in these weird configurations. Like these Tibbs' new thing is like when Brunson's not on the floor, going to the double bigs with like Cam and Deuce as the backcourt, and then Mikal, especially when he's not initiating, which he wasn't today, like he wasn't creating. You can't really ask Deuce to create off the dribble. Like that's asking him a lot, but that's asking a lot of Cam. That's asking a lot of Mikal. Like, so like, what is your plan with those units? It's kind of like you have to be really smart about how you play through Cat because everybody else is pretty much an off-ball player. So it's something that could work, but it's not something we fucking practiced, right? Like we had Cat plus bench units, but not double big Cat plus bench units. So I feel bad for him because it's like, yo, we're literally asking him to try some new shit, and he's good, but he's not a fucking superstar. Like maybe I'm making excuses. I don't know.
I don't think it's necessarily. I think it's not an excuse. I would say it's the explanation. But unfortunately for him, where he kind of needs to adjust is that the leash is going to be super short now in the playoffs, right? It's kind of like you need to like play out your comfort zone, and he's not doing that, unfortunately. That's really hard.
He keeps trying to dunk on people, though. He's gonna get one day.
No, he will, and I think that's really just what the issue is for him. It's just like he's not in his traditional role, and it sucks. But in the playoff, you kind of have to be. So like he unfortunately needs to just pick it up. Like he is in a bad spot, but like you got to do more. You got to make a couple more shots, and hopefully he'll dunk on someone. The moment he dunks on someone in the playoffs, he'll be fine.
It's so funny too, because like Philly, like the playoff Deuce last year, like he got a lot of threes. It were in transition. They were like coming off curls. They were sometimes pulling off of screens, but like we don't really do much of that right now with these lineups. Like Mikal, like because these lineups are weird and like we just haven't done that kind of shit. So like you could ask Tibbs to try to like draw up some shit for that, but again, like these guys aren't really used to playing with each other, so it's just asking a lot of everybody involved. I did like that we did see some brief Brunson and Deuce minutes.
We got a little bit.
So I Tibbs was like, I'll take a sample of this ice cream flavor. I don't need a scoop. I just need the wooden spoon, just like, like an ounce or whatever. Like,
a little sample. I love
baby
those.
Baby steps. I'll take that from Tibbs. Here, let me put one more on here. JB Bickerstaff, the biggest wine in the league. His level of crash outs are crazy, bro. He had one in the first half where it was so bad that even the announcers were like, well, Tim Hardaway Jr. like acknowledged that he pulled Jalen Brunson and the foul was on him, and JB Bickerstaff was like still going on the sideline.
He's listen. One of the problems he has isn't that the whole thing, like the boy who cried wolf? Isn't he just the perfect example of that right now? Because like you can only crash out when you know like you're right and you're being honest with yourself and with the calls,
or else it won't have an impact on the refs.
Yeah, like it won't have an impact. So like he complains about everything. So when Duran does acknowledge that he grabs like OG Anunoby's jersey or whoever it was, right? Like you got to accept like you can commit fouls. Your team does commit fouls. Like that's the only way it is, and that's the way it's honest. Like Brunson usually, like Brunson is on and off with it, but like when Brunson is on with the refs, he is usually more honest with like, no, I didn't actually touch the ball and that type of stuff, right? Like you have to be honest with yourself with the calls. Bickerstaff isn't, and he looks like an idiot when you're not honest with yourself with the calls and non-calls. It's just terrible to watch too. Because it's everything. It's everything.
I'd be pissed if I was a Pistons fan. He went to no center lineup to great effect in the second quarter. I actually thought it was like a kind of like a junk ball move, but it worked. They like completely fucked the Knicks up for a little bit there, and then like
that's how they closed out the second half. That's how they got in their run.
Yeah, and then in the fourth quarter, I don't know if it was Bickerstaff or if it was Cade, but like one of the things I've noticed in this series is he's basically terrible when he goes left and extremely good when he goes right. But there's a third situation that rarely happens, which is when he's attacking left, but like from the left baseline. And he's really good on the left base. Like it seems like every time he attacks from the baseline, really good things happen. And I think my armchair theory is because it's harder to like bring help because you can see it. And then like on the left baseline, he's not really worrying about passing or turning it over. It's usually just one-on-one, and the passes are more obvious because when he's in the middle, like he has to do his like super like James Harden point guard thing, which is very hard for anybody, which is why he always ends up with so many fucking turnovers. But on the left side, like he's had more success like on OG and Mikal on the left side, and he started doing that shit. I don't know if Bickerstaff called for it, but like, you know, it's something I'm like, wow, I'm glad they don't have a good coach, because if I was a good coach, I would not have Cade do high pick and roll up the middle every time. I would let him go where he's apparently cooking the fuck out of all the Knicks, but they just, I don't know if it was Cade or Bickerstaff or what, but like, they didn't like doing that shit.
That is an interesting point. I did not pick up on that, but like say that's the case, you're right, because now that like I'm just kind of thinking about it, like visualize when you're on the left, especially for Cade, you're right. Like there's just simpler reads you can make compared to going up the court, up the center, right? Like it's simpler because the only read to your left is the corner three, pretty much, right? Like that's the only thing that's open, or the guy's cutting. That's like there's only one or two passes that you can make from there, so it does simplify the court for him. And if that's true, and the Pistons haven't picked up on that, then that's a mistake because damn well know Tibbs is not really doing anything. So
yeah, looking it up on StatMuse, he actually shoots pretty much the same there over the season. So maybe it's just versus the Knicks, but either way, seems to be working versus the Knicks. So shout out to JB Bickerstaff for not going to that, I guess. I want to throw out some other. Wait, where'd it go? So here's a comment.
Oh, come on. We need to talk about Mitch's free throws then. Okay, after this.
We'll talk about Mitch's free throws. That regression came hard, bro. I really like the volume of shots we got up. We only ended up with 33 threes, which is probably like right around our average. But I will say it probably would have been higher if it wasn't for the crazy third quarter with injuries and fouls and shit, because even though we were shooting like ass, I think at halftime we had 21 threes. So I remember just looking at the box at halftime, and it was just like Alonzo Mourning meme, like, oh, we can't shoot shit, but at least we're getting up.
I was gonna say they were all good shots because most of those misses were Mikal, and those were wide open too. Like those were like good look threes. So you couldn't be mad. It's one of those, the process was good. So
yeah, we got out rebounded like crazy, 38-54. I think it wasn't. Both teams got to the offensive glass. 12 offensive rebounds for the Knicks, 14 for Detroit. I mean, a lot of that was definitely when the Knicks had to go OG at the 5 with all the guards and Jalen Duren just feeling like the Hulk. But even like later in the game, like Duren and Tobias fucking Harris were like hitting the glass pretty well. And the ultimate shot count, we got a few more shots than Detroit. 91 total attempts, 84 for Detroit. But that's for Detroit, and that's mostly because of the turnovers. God damn, I don't know how many turnovers they finished with. Let me see.
I'm looking it up. 17.
17, bruh. Right, and that's
a lot.
They had a stat that they displayed at the end of the first quarter, and it said like I think like at that time like 3 of the 7 quarters that had been played, the Pistons had 10 turnovers, which is kind of nuts. And maybe it's just because I'm used to like Tibbs ball, which is like, worship at the altar of no turnovers, everything at the expense of no turnovers. So like 10 and a quarter, I think Tibbs would commit like Harikiri on the spot.
I have no idea. Yeah, I have no idea.
Seppuku, whichever one is the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like Tibbs wouldn't allow for it. I really hate the low turnover thing, because it's also like the biggest reason why this team loses is like there's this fundamental idea of like turnovers are bad, and like we know they're bad, but like can you just I don't know, lighten up on it a bit. This is what I want to talk about. Mitch's free throws were so bad today.
All of them hit the front of the rim. They didn't even get over the rim.
No, they were comical. Like they were comical front of the rim like misses. Like
Schwinn is not here, but like we had people in the Strickland Discord early at the end of the season being like, "Oh, has Mitch turned a corner?" Because he was shooting like 70%, and then it caused me to look. at like his whole career, and I was like, I wonder if this is the best free throw shooting stretch. He's had several months where he shot like 75% from the line,
Okay.
so this was actually not his best stretch. And every single time, he comes crashing down to earth like a meteor.
Yeah, like these were terrible misses. Like the shots where you're like, oh, you can't shoot. Misses, like they were terrible. Like it looked like there was no lift. The ball I don't even know if 50% of the ball was actually over the rim when it hit the front of the rim. They were actually absolutely terrible. They need to hack a Mitch. That's probably what they're going to do.
I thought they were. I was actually thought they were going to do that, and I was surprised. I was shocked that they didn't. After seeing that shit, I would have been like, "Yep, you know what to do."
Yeah, Mitch's first miss. I'm like, oh, we're just going to foul him. just foul him every time.
Josh Hart on the last play. Did I make contact with him? Yeah, I did. Was it legal? I don't know. We'll see in the last 2 minutes report.
That's what I'm saying.
A great quote. That's a great quote because the last 2 minutes report. I say this as a lawyer. Is clearly written by somebody or somebody talking to a lawyer because it's basically just like NBA ref propaganda. Like they literally just make up like fancy sounding terms, and sometimes like every time, like it happens like once a month, I'll be like, oh, let me see what the rule book and the comments on the rules actually says, and like half the shit in the last 2 minutes report has nothing to do with like what is actually in the rules or the comments. Like in Game 3 with their shot clock shenanigans. In the last 2 minutes report, they were like, oh, Detroit was awarded the ball because they had imminent possession. That's not a thing in the rules or the comments of the rule. They just literally made that up. And I don't know why, like, it's funny every time. It sucks when your team is on the shitty end of it. Like,
of course it is. It's terrible.
Yeah. And this is the sort of straight up thing that, like, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes either way. If they say, like, yeah, he fouled him, so what? Or if they say, like, they bust out their favorite of all the phrases that
marginal
have no
contact.
Meaning. Marginal contact, baby.
Oh God, I fucking hate marginal contact. I hate everything about it.
When we finally get the Strickland pickup charity classic, I'm just gonna hack the shit out of people and just scream marginal contact.
That's what you need to do.
That's basically what the Pistons do.
It really is. You know, it's funny, because I grew up in New Jersey. You were in New York. Growing up, you kind of like you don't call fouls, right? That's just kind of the thing.
Nah, it has to be like egregious.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like you have to be like, no, you actually hit me going like for a layup for no reason, like type of shit, right? Like you just kind of learn to play through it. That's why it's really annoying when I watch like the Knicks and like Tibbs complain about the officiating. It's just like, no, like we all have to play through it. Just play through it. Like you're right, but play through it. But yeah, like the 2 minute report's gonna justify it. Like they're not gonna say he fouled him. He would have won. Like I said, he would have won it on a replay if you were able to challenge it. They're not gonna win it in the 2 minute report. It's all this shit's legal. It's just legalese. It's NBA legalese. I'm tired, and I can't stand the refs. The refs created this, right? Like the refs created this situation. The very fact that they didn't get a call is because the refs created this the entire series. And I've been saying this, at least in our Discord, and you know this, Brett, like for years now at this point, like the refs don't have any grasp on the NBA. They don't know how to officiate physical basketball anymore. They have no clue what to do. So you see terrible, inconsistent calls. And like that's what you get because like the league doesn't know how to officiate
that's what the thing is. The league doesn't know. And like on some level, I actually feel bad for the refs because like it's not like other sports. Like, well, I can't speak on football. I can mostly speak on baseball, but like in baseball, like when there's rule changes, it's like, okay, like everybody's mostly on the same page about them. In the NBA, it's just like any given crew on any given day, it's like going to an art museum and it's like, oh yeah, how do you feel about this painting? It's just like completely subjective.
Everything is subjective. It's basically how are these individuals interpreting the rules now, and the rules are getting so vague, especially, marginal contact, right? Like that's a pretty clear one when you can at least establish, I feel like a boomer when I talk about like the rest of it, but just like remember when I started like learning the game of basketball and playing at like high school and stuff, there was always like an imaginary like plane, right? Like there's like this vertical plane that you weren't ever allowed to like intersect. And at least I know for me playing like volleyball and stuff, like you have a net that is the physical vertical plane of it, And just kind of I learned, and like the refs just don't have a grasp. Like there isn't like a common agree upon like I just mentioned, like a vertical plan. Like no one, it varies from every single crew, and the players don't know what to do, the coaches don't know what to do, and the refs don't know what to do now because of how this stuff is written. It's insane. It's a terrible product. And the league is totally fine with it. I don't know why they're fine with it. It's probably something to do with gambling.
They're just, I mean, probably that, and probably just because like there's no easy solution. So on some level, I get the commissioner just being like, man, who gives a shit? Like, as long as we're making money, it's whatever. I want to get to this next stupid ass quote from JB Bickerstaff.
There's no way he said
Last
that.
couple
Is that a real quote?
It's a real quote, despite this guy taking it pretty much exclusively mid-range jump shots. And like when Cade did get to the rim a lot in the second half, during our during our centerless stretch, it wasn't like it was particularly physical defense. It was just like, okay, Cade is making a great jump hook.
In this game, yeah. For some reason, I jumped to the other game because he got to the line the other game. Was it 2? He got to the game in like one of them. Like Cade pretty easily.
Is not efficient. Like I don't know who. I mean, he's JB's star player, so like on some level he has to go to bat for him. I get that, but like this is literally Cade's thing is like he is a superstar who is not efficient. That's it. Mm-hmm. That's literally the thing. Along with being like an incredible passer and somebody who plays really good defense as well, is like he literally just takes mostly mid-range shots, not a lot of threes, not a lot of the rim, not a lot of free throws. So it's. I mean, JB Bickerstaff is clearly like kind of just like saying shit just to say shit at this point. We haven't really talked about Josh Hart's game today. I thought he in the first half, he hit 2 fucking threes. He ended up with 3 threes. They were timely at a time when nobody could shoot. Later in the game, they started ignoring him a little bit more, but like again, like the Pistons are similar to the last game. They didn't really take advantage of Josh Hart being a not shooter, and Josh Hart, to his credit, knocked down a couple shots, was setting screens and do it. He wasn't just standing around. So it was a good Josh Hart game. 14 points on 9 shots, 10 rebounds, 5 assists,
4 steals.
4. Jesus, I didn't even realize he had 4 steals. Yeah, a lot of those turnovers were Josh Hart fucking flying around to Cade and Duren and Tobias and just fucking shit up. He was massive in the first half on defense. He was clearly juiced up, and like, you know, it's clear that part of the scouting report was like, yo, like they're gonna turn it over. They're gonna try to make plays. Cade is gonna try to make plays from the middle of the court. It's extremely hard if you pick up your dribble in the middle of the court, it's really hard to make a pass or make a shot, right? Like, there's a reason not a lot of players make a trade and make their living that way, because it's just very risky. So Josh Hart doing well to take advantage of it. Shout out to him. High motor, doing Josh Hart things. It's so funny. I'm just looking at the box again. Mikal 3 of 12, OG 3 of 13. Like those guys shot like dog shit, bro, and it didn't fucking matter. It's so crazy.
They were rough. Yeah, they were rough. I thought OG played really good defense on Cade. Like just generally, like the past couple, like he's been really just forcing him to take these like slightly off balanced contested shots, and I think he's just doing a great job of that. So I'm okay with him like not necessarily shooting too well, but man, I can't wait till like we have a game where like both OG and Mikal are like making some threes. Well, Mikal did make some threes. We don't have like both of them making a little more. It's gonna do.
It'll be an avalanche game. Yeah. For sure.
It'll do wonders. It'll be great.
Jalen Duren probably had my favorite box score today. 3 of 5, 11 points, 17 rebounds, 6 offensive rebounds, 4 assists, minus 17, highest on the Pistons by an enormous margin. The next worst, minus 9, Tobias Harris.
How is that even possible?
Because the run in the end of the first half when he was off the court and the Pistons made up like a 15-point gap or whatever.
You're right. That makes sense now.
Duren is like, it's hard for me to like be too mad at him. I mean, I'm not mad at him. I'm happy he is not good at times because we're trying to beat the Pistons. But like, he's 19 years old. Like he's clearly got
19. He's 21 now.
Is he?
Yes, he's been in the league for like 7 years now.
Jalen Duren has not been in the league for 7 fucking years, bro.
Okay, fine, maybe not 7 years, but he's definitely.
He's 21. He's 21. He's 21.
Yeah.
I have this thing with teenage with 18-year-olds that are drafted for the first 3 years of their career. I'm always like, in my head, they're always rookies, and I'm just like,
yeah, like you're the guy who perpetuated.
Like,
no, yeah, that's you being like Tatum is still 19 years old at least.
Yeah, except I'm doing it because I'm dumb and not because I'm an annoying agenda-based Celtics fan. So, very similar though, very similar.
But yeah, no, he's 21 now. He's not 19, so no more excuses anymore. He's allowed to serve in his. Oh wait, no, he can serve in the military at 18. He's allowed to drink alcohol now. He's a grown man.
Assar Thompson, only 22 minutes after playing 19 minutes the last game. He's definitely a guy. Pretty much all of his shots come when it's him versus Jalen Brunson with Jalen Brunson as the low man, and then Assar gets the best of him. But aside from that, like, the Knicks kind of just ignore him, and it's really rough for the Pistons. So like, it's one of those things that, the Pistons are finding this out with Assar, and the Rockets are finding this out with his brother as well. And like, these guys have incredible gifts, but in the playoffs, like, if you really can't shoot, it's hard to do what Josh Hart does, man. Like, it takes a special combination of player feel and the coach intentionally accounting for that, right? And like, there's plenty of times we wish Tibbs wouldn't play Josh Hart, but it's like, if you're gonna play Josh Hart 42 minutes like he did today, at least have him doing shit, right? Which is, Tibbs has done a decent job in this series of that. So like, you don't really see, like, Bickerstaff has tried to do some of that stuff, like when they went really small, but like, that's not sustainable against the Knicks, right? Like, eventually, if you go with a Tobias Assar front court, like, eventually Cat is gonna eat you alive. I mean, he's gonna eat you alive no matter what if you're these Pistons, but like,
yeah, it matters how much he's he's gonna eat. Though it really, like you said, like Josh Hart, like, we know he can't shoot. So like, when you can't shoot, you need to be able to pretty much be elite at everything else, which is what Josh Hart does. So Assar has to fall into the same thing. That, he's still really young though.
How many games?
Like, that's really, it's as simple as that. He's not seasoned yet.
Yeah, and I mean, that's one of the things, right? If you're this Pistons team, like, you're gonna shoot yourself in the foot a little bit. It's just kind of the nature of your team. But this is Assar's super. One thing I like about him is he's like, him and his brother are extremely self-aware, high field basketball players. So like, even when they ask him about defending Jalen Brunson, like, he could give like a total non-answer.
No, they quoted him, and it was like, I'm like, he's right. Like, that's really good that he's aware of exactly what makes Brunson like as good, just the way he uses his body and the timing of it. Like, I was like, oh shit, like he got it right. And I'm like, good for him.
No, he's a huge basketball. He literally was like, Jalen Brunson does certain things differently with his body when he's gonna draw the foul versus when he's gonna attack, and it's on us to read that.
Yes.
But that's really hard. And I was like, wow. Very, like, he has articulated the Jalen Brunson conundrum better than 99% of like actual professionals who cover the Knicks.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's why I was just like shocked by that answer, because I'm just like, God damn, like, it's like, oh, it's great to actually hear not only a truthful answer, but like the actual answer as well. Like, it was really nice to hear like a what do you call it? Is it like a bottled answer? You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't generic. It was the actual, like, someone actually answered the question thoughtfully. And it was really great to hear. But yeah, because you can't be basically the what's it called? Basically the dunker spot, right? That's where Assar's been really making his damage. Like, you're not going to get 20 points out on any team doing that, right? Like, you can't just constantly do that read. So like, it's really hard to contribute. And like I said, like, Josh Hart contributes because he had 4 steals instead of 1. Right, like 10 rebounds instead of 4. Like, that's really what and then the assists too, right? Like, that's what it comes down to. And him and his brother will get there though. And just saying, like, I want one of them, if not both, on the Knicks. And
I mean, we can dream. They're both really good. I don't think that's gonna happen, but we can.
It's not, but like, I'm just saying, like, those guys, I am like all in on as like a future like elite type of like star in their role type of role player things. Like, they're going to be special. I really think that.
I want to correct some misinformation that I spread. I said Deuce played 9 minutes. He played 19 minutes, so he played way more than the last game. And in those 19 minutes,
it felt like he was playing only 9 minutes.
My NBA app does this thing where sometimes when the game's done, it only shows like the stats through part of the game. So I had to pull up the ESPN app, and in those 19 minutes, he was a +1. So like, single game plus minus, your mileage may vary.
It's my favorite stat. There is
the noisiest of stats. Our bench went a total of 1, 4, 8. And one of the announcers pointed out that during this game, Dennis Schroder, who played 27 minutes, was 2 for 4, 6 points, has outscored the Knicks bench. I'm not gonna lie, Dennis Schroder is the type of motherfucker I would love as a bench player on the Knicks. I don't know if that makes me like, if I don't know where he is on like the shit list for most Knicks fans, but his level of like vet savvy and like, I won't shoot unless I have to, but if I have to, I might be a pain in your ass. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's just, you don't want to go to the well too often if you're the Pistons, but as a backup,
he's the better version of Campaign.
Yeah.
Right. 100%. Like that's what he is. And I'd love that if he goes for a minimum this offseason, I wouldn't mind doing him as the Campaign upgrade. But like, that's why we like him though, right? It's the same reason why like Campaign's annoying. It's like he can just go off. True. Right? True. It's just like he just goes off and he plays defense and he creates turnovers in these plays, and you're just like, God damn it. That's what it is. Yeah, Schroder would be a great Campaign replacement. That's who he's the better version of that.
It's funny, like Schroder, there's 2 setups that they deploy Schroder. One is they'll do it when Cade needs a rest, obviously, so he can help run the offense. And that's always kind of like a shaky proposition just because the Pistons are not that good. And then they'll sometimes do some Schroder Cade minutes together to help. It's usually to help get Cade the ball like in easier situations, which in theory is like a good idea, but it means usually you have Schroder and like Beasley or Tim Hardaway. So you have like 2 kind of defenders who are smaller. I mean, Schroder has long arms, but like ultimately you're having like more targets on the court. So they can't even really, like, he's certainly helpful for them, but like if he was on the Knicks, it would be even more like optimized for him. Kind of like it is for Cam. Although I would say Schroder's a little steadier than Cam. Like Campaign, when he had that fucking turnover, bro, trying to run up the court, and it wasn't even like it wasn't even like the Brunson thing where he's like, I'm faster than you, so I'm gonna make you bump me, and then I'm gonna fall over. Like Campaign was literally not faster. I forget who was guarding him, but like he was.
No, it was Sar, and he tried to do the like the push dribble to get around him, but he wasn't going fast enough, so he just
like
fell.
Bro, you're not faster than Assar fucking Thompson.
You're not
like top 15 athlete in the league, and you're fucking Campaign, bro. Like
I was
like,
so.
Which way does Cam want to go? Left? What a shocker! Like
it was really. Unfortunately, I don't think they count the basket because Tim Hardaway decided to keep it in his hand for too long because I think they waved it off. But man, that turnover. But like, goddamn, it's turnovers like Schroder as annoying. Like I don't think Schroder's making that turnover. Campaign's making that turnover though.
Right, exactly. And Schroder's actually like Campaign's probably like a better overall shooter, but Schroder's obviously more athletic, right? Like he's fast. That's his thing. So like he can do shit like that. So I mean, he thankfully like doesn't shoot that much, or at least didn't shoot that much today.
He didn't shoot that much today. I don't know why that was the case, but he did not shoot that much. I do think it could have just been like just trying to get Cade really going because he was playing pretty well. So
it was mostly like Beasley got 12 shots, Cade had 23 shots, Tim Hardaway took 13 threes, 16 shots. Tobias took 15 shots. Both Tim and Tobias had points in the game where they were like had more points than shots, and they both Tim ended with 14 points on 16 shots thanks to a late flurry that he hit. Otherwise it would have been even more inefficient.
It's so
Tobias
annoying.
ended up with 18. I know it was stupid. I was like, this guy, man.
I'm so tired
That's
of
the
it.
thing. It's the peak Tim Hardaway experience. Like, bro, like you're gonna play whack defense. You're not gonna do anything. All you can do if you're the Pistons is hope that
he's draining threes. That's really what it is. Yeah, it's so fucking annoying.
They couldn't shoot for shit in the first half, and it wasn't the difference between their shit and the Knicks bricks was like theirs were more hard shots. Like Tim's was taking shots, but they weren't really open.
They were not making good. It wasn't because Mikal was wide open. They were not wide open. And that was the big thing. And listen, Tobias Harris was talking way too much shit this game. For basically fouling Towns on every single possession and then acting like he's playing defense.
Well, that's the thing that happens. This is what I was saying at the top. Like if the refs, not the shit talking is definitely the second, like weight by a large margin, the less important consequence compared to the tendency to injure people, right? But like
yes, I agree.
But if you're letting guys play physical, then it's like, oh, all of a sudden defense becomes a little easier. Like, what a shocker, right? And Tobias starts talking shit, but it's like, bro, you're Tobias fucking Harris, man. Like, you gotta chill. He thought he was doing something.
He really did.
Honestly, if I was one of the Pistons, I would have thought I was doing something. Like, again, like they really were. They had all the momentum, and then Brunson came back. Like, I literally, you want to know what my notes say? My notes document. Man, I closed it, but basically it said like Jalen Brunson is back, like John Wick. Like that's literally what it felt like. I was like, this is like John Wick, where it's just like no matter how like he's limping through fucking 2 hours of the movie, and he's still like killing like 800 henchmen or whatever. Like you can't kill him because he's the star of the movie. Like that's the kind of plot armor that he had right now.
He's not like we knew he was coming back. Not right. Like you
I didn't know he
was
like, coming back, bro.
Who? You didn't know that?
I didn't know.
Oh, I thought he was coming back. He always comes back.
I think it's because I'm just like oblivious. Because I'm in another group chat with some of my friends, and they said the same thing. And they were like, "Bro, he always does this." And I was like, "Oh, he looked injured for real."
He always comes back. And I'm like,
he does come back. It would take extremely. You know what it is too? Oh shit, Stacy in the building. What up, Stacy? Look at you guys matching. So cute. You guys are just ready for Lakers colors
on the top.
I took his. I just like took it.
Full,
I was like,
you guys are like a combined, full-haired, racially ambiguous person. Congratulations.
That's what we're here for. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, no, I did notice though when Brunson came back, like, even though he had like at least in the very beginning, like right before he really started to chef people up, he was not bringing the ball up the court. They let Mikal and Hart bring the ball up the court. And that's how I knew like he was like, this wasn't some bullshit. Like he was like actually hurt and he needs to save his legs.
What scared me was on the, like right after it happened, like he tried to get up and then he immediately fell down. I sprained my ankle. I'm not a pro basketball player, in case anyone was confused.
What?
But
that's crazy, man. No, for real?
But yeah, that's kind of how you know, like, oh, I turned it. It's going to be a little annoying for a couple minutes versus, nope, not happening. That's when I was like, fuck, is he coming back today? But it was weird because the brace they put on was a knee brace, right?
I didn't even notice.
I thought it was just one of those, like those the leg things that you put on after you run and they inflate with air and they like kind of like press your leg. It looked like one of those.
Yeah, maybe.
You have no idea what I'm talking about, do you?
But I definitely I don't have. I should. My sister's a physical therapist, so I should know about that. But I agree with Prez. Like I did not think he was coming back this game.
No, I knew he was going to. He always comes back. There's never not a time he doesn't come back.
I just hope y'all know when the next game is?
Tuesday.
I'm in a fucking cryogenic tank or whatever.
For real. He needs to be in the shit that Goku goes in. What is it called? No, not the hyperbolic time chamber. The other shit where he's just resting in the water, just suspended.
Oh, the float thing?
The float thing. The Run.Down added a professional basketball player. Yes, clearly a reference to Stacy.
Don't worry. I got a mean crossover. Don't. Don't underestimate me. The next game is on Tuesday, Prez.
Oh, we're good. We're good. This is fine. This is great.
Yeah,
This is the one thing I
they'll
like
shoot him
about
up
the
with some sort of
playoffs.
steroids. He'll be fine.
They shot him up with the fucking LeBron shit when he went back into the locker room. I promise you.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like they're listen. Whatever the Knicks health staff is on, they got the best. They got the best drugs for it now.
What they got the guy from the Mavs, Casey.
Oh
whatever.
the guy from the Mavs who was like, who Nico's like, I don't like him. Fired
Dude,
him.
everybody loves this guy. You want to, listeners? I don't
How
think
come
this
he didn't-
Strickland.
How come he didn't introduce Luka to Ozempic? That's the question.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
he's so good.
Look. Even LeBron and Jordan have their weaknesses. All right. So this guy, for people who don't know, the Strickland had like we posted about someone's quote about him. I don't know if it was Luka or someone else, and like. When I tell you a fuck ton of like former and current NBA players liked the post, commented, Vince Carter commented on the post,
Yeah.
like JJ Barea liked this man, like he's out here, like his name precedes his reputation, or his reputation precedes himself or whatever. So he knew
It's
what
crazy.
to do with Brunson, and this is a just big difference. I don't know how many Knicks fans here we got. Over 1,000 people tuned in, which is crazy. But I don't know how many of y'all were around and remember during the Pablo J. Kidd dual point guard backcourt days where I forget the name of our trainer, but his solution to everything was basically like slap a Band-Aid on it. So like constant Knicks would just get hurt and then come back in with like bandages, like they were fucking
That's the way to do it. That's what I'm saying. So just wrap it up, whatever you got, and call it a day.
Dude, they just put like bandages, Robitussin, Vapor Rub. It's probably just like
did you see Porzingis though with the Band-Aid?
Yeah, that was he was fucking. This guy was like I just saw Sinners yesterday. He was bleeding like one of those fucking vampires from that movie. Like he was. I didn't watch it live, and he was. I just saw the video of him getting hit, and he was just bleeding immediately.
Yeah, I saw it live. He was bleeding immediately, and then we're like, "Oh, that's a lot of blood." So like he comes back and he comes back.
It was a doofy looking. You got to throw a headband on or something, bro. Come on.
He threw out the stupidest Band-Aid, and I'm like, they can't let him go out like this. Like someone had to tell him. Like no one told him that he looks like an idiot, and I just couldn't stop laughing. I'm like, he's a fucking idiot, man.
It's true. Nobody is ever gonna say Kristaps has aura, but like the aura reduction from that Band-Aid was enough to eat into his actual player skills.
Yeah, it was that bad. It was that bad, and goddamn, I'm just happy that like we don't have that with Brunson. You know what I mean? Like it's like, oh my god, he's injured. Then he comes back and he wins the game like a hero. And then you have Porzingis with the Band-Aid after getting like legit hurt. But
I mean, we talk about this with the Knicks all the time, right? Like we have guys like Mikal and Brunson who are extremely durable. Mm-hmm. And then we have guys who, at times are injury risks like Towns and OG. And like, this is one of the things that makes Brunson really valuable, right? Is like, he's going to play a lot of games every season. He can play a lot of minutes. This man's a little fucking brick shit house. So like, he doesn't have some weird, like unnatural human being build, like 80% of the NBA where it's like humans weren't supposed to be built like this. So therefore your bones are not going to work. Just like us. He's just like a prime human being without like the weird like, oh, what if your femur was like twice its normal length or whatever? Like
he's just Stacy, but my height. That's really all it
basically. You taller than Jalen though.
I might be. I don't think people realize like they list.
No, you're 100% taller than JB. You're like 6'4", dude.
Listen, they list him at 6'2". He's not 6'2". I'm telling you,
he's not 6'2", and you're not 6'2" either. So, I definitely.
I am taller than a former NBA player, but
wow,
who I've met in person, and his name's Muggsy.
I was going to say that's on Earl Boykins.
I haven't met JJ Barea or Earl Boykins, but I'm optimistic, guys. Let's keep the hope.
I mean, JJ got a couple inches, I think, on Muggsy.
Yeah, JJ's listed at 5'7". I'm 5'7", so I haven't met him in person though. So I met Muggsy in person, confirm he's 5'3", and yeah.
That's
the
never
one
going to
win I
be
have.
that's never going to be duplicated again in the NBA. I don't think that people realize how crazy it was that like Muggsy was
No,
legit
those
good.
days are gone.
Like
He was
Dude,
averaging like
hey,
11 and 8 too. Like he wasn't a scrub. Like he was a
no, I
starter.
know. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't think people appreciate like how insane it is. Like it's never going to happen. Like that's how hard it is.
every year, Stacy and I miss on guard draft prospects who were like, "Oh, they're so awesome and they're great. They're 6'1", but what if everything goes right?" That doesn't
Yeah,
fucking
it's
happen
like
anymore in the NBA,
it
and
doesn't
we
happen.
haven't learned for like 5 years. We keep doing the same shit.
Yeah, they need to win 2 NCAA titles in Jalen Brunson and then still get drafted in the second round and then still
Right.
have a team be like, no, we don't want to pay you."
Jalen Brunson, if this was like, if he did everything he did in college and was in the 2025 draft, would fucking go like 58th max.
Yeah.
Like, and then it'd be like, oh my god, what a great undrafted free agent pick by the Heat or some bullshit. But like,
Yeah, that's exactly what would happen. It'd be terrible.
yeah. Carl Anthony Towns on his crunch time shot making. I'm just trying to do my best Jalen Brunson impression. I'll say this
That's
about
right.
Towns. He's had some, he can vacillate between cool quotes and very corny quotes with no warning. And I think we got cool Carl Anthony Towns for this series. He hasn't said anything cringeworthy.
Not yet. He will soon enough.
Oh, wait. Here it is. There it is. Wait, what? See, this is what I'm saying. How foul should have been called even though Hart made marginal contact. That makes it not marginal, you fucks.
I read that report, unless I might not be reading the same thing as Jordan. But what I saw was they said it was more than marginal. So
I see.
That's what I mean.
Me and Drew were like, either they're gonna say they fucked up and it was more than marginal, or they're gonna say it was marginal and not explain.
We knew marginal was being used. We knew 100% the word marginal was being thrown into this, whatever they were going to explain it to be.
Yeah, but I think like if you look at the last 2-minute reports comes out, you're gonna find a lot of missed calls on that play. Tobias Harris probably got away with an loose ball call. Someone's posted a screenshot where he might have been touching the ball while out of bounds.
Yeah.
So, and this was the whole game. I mean, I don't even want to criticize.
That's the main thing, right?
It was the whole game.
I don't want to criticize the refs either, because this is.
I do. Fuck them. They're terrible. They've been this bad, and they do this all the single time. They do this every single game, and this is basic. Hold on, I'll let you. Hold on, I will let you cook. Just give me a moment. Fans need to realize that we need to stop being mad at like other fans when the refs fuck up, and realize there's the commonality of every single thing. It's the refs fucking up. Every fan knows is like, oh, the refs are out to get us, right? They're out to get our team. But all of us think that, and when the common factor is the refs because they don't know what they're doing. Tony, we need to do something about it. We need to.
Well, I think it's difficult for a variety of reasons. Number one being, this is the kind of game like most people are saying this was a great game. Knicks fans, Pistons fans, even NBA fans are saying this was a great game. This is whether you agree with this kind of perspective or not, there is this feeling that the game needs to be more physical. It shouldn't be this easy to score. And they called it that way for the most part on both ends. I don't think the Knicks were called necessarily for fouls that the Pistons weren't being called for. The difference was, I think the Pistons just foul on every play. That is their MO, right?
They do.
That was the difference. And then in the second half, I was talking to Drew about this, is like, once you realize the game is being officiated that way, if you're a team like the Pistons, you're going to continue dialing it up a little bit, and you might get a reckless play here or there, especially because you're fighting for your life in the season, right? So, like, for example, the thing where that they didn't look at or call at all, where Josh Hart was in the air and Jalen Duren hip checked him, and Josh Hart.
Yeah, that should have been a flagrant foul.
Even the flagrant should have also been when Josh took it to the rim and Cade didn't go for the ball, just grabbed his arms. Now that could be ticky-tack, but he wasn't going for the ball. By letter of the law, that's also a flagrant, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. It wasn't like basketball player or whatever. He was just wrapping him up. So like, there's shit like that where it's like, if they're making calls at the start of the game or in the second quarter, or even if they've been letting them play for a half and they're like, okay, we don't want to get someone to get hurt, so they tighten up a little bit in the third quarter, then those plays don't happen anymore. The players are going to be like, oh shit, like I can't just wild out like that. But like, they were like, no, the refs were consistent in that they pretty much kept calling it the same way for both teams. And Detroit is the team because it's their nature, right? They're one of the most foul prone teams in the NBA. Like you said, they're going to do it more and more. And then now all of a sudden, fast forward, you got Brunson getting hurt. You got Tobias talking shit because he's confusing uncalled fouls with good defense. And then finally, the bill comes due for the Pistons at the end of the game where you want a foul on a last second shot on a non-superstar. And even superstars are only getting that call
if Brunson got that call,
fouled game.
All the people complaining, can you imagine if the sides were flipped and Brunson gets that call?
Brunson's literally never got a call like that. He's never got a call like because the only people who get calls like that are like,
and he is a superstar. That's the point.
And LeBron,
like even higher level superstars, right? Exactly. So like, yeah, you're right. Like it's just, I understand. If I was a Pistons fan, I'd be saying the same shit. Like, this bullshit. He got fouled or whatever. But like, as long as you Pistons fans understand that, like, at no point in the 48 minutes of the game was that getting called. As long as you're saying that, like, you're okay. As long as you're saying that the refs should have called in the last play what they didn't call for the rest of the game. If you phrase it like that and you want to tell me, yeah, it's inconsistent, I don't care, letter of the law, fine, cool, great, good for you. Way to be just like honorable to your agendas, because no Pistons fan was bitching about all the gazillion other uncalled fouls either way for the preceding fucking 47 minutes. Like, I just don't, I have no interest in that.
But
and like,
so go ahead. I'll let you finish.
No, I'm done. I'm good. Go ahead.
I do want to throw this back to you because the Knicks are a team that have been criticized for a lack of toughness. And, be able to fight through these. That's what it looked like in the third quarter, right? They couldn't, they got, people were blaming Tibbs, and there's a fair amount of blame to go there. But in the beginning, I could see them trying to, Brunson had a nice little look away pass to Hart that got fucking tossed when he tried to go for a layup. They were trying to move the ball, but everything was a little bit, 2 or 3 feet away from where you want, or you can't set the. There's one play that was comically bad where Bridges was trying to set a screen for Cat, and he just couldn't do it because he's Mikal Bridges. Because even without, the physicality, that's a tough proposition. But they kind of fought through that. Brunson in particular, but Cat. Some of it was just crazy shot making, which we're a little spoiled with at this point with Cat and Brunson. But for me, like, this series, I haven't been able to get that enthusiastic about it because it's like, well, we have to face the Celtics anyway. This is only downside. The harder it is against Detroit, the more discouraging that is for how we do against Boston. Does a game like this give you some more confidence that there is more to this? If the biggest, and maybe the biggest flaw isn't lack of toughness or whatever, but does this give you some more confidence against a team like Boston, or that this team is evolving, that they can win a game like this where things weren't going their way? They want to play this style of offense, and Detroit and the refs to some extent. I'm not blaming the refs. What I'm saying is the environment they were in was not a good fit for how they would ideally like to play. And they found a way to win. Does that give you more confidence going forward in what this team could be, even as currently constructed?
I mean, it gives me like 3 or 4 or 5% more confidence because Boston's clearly super fucking banged up. Or if you take a different perspective, they're getting their rest in because they know they'll win anyway. But like, Tibbs has decided he's not making any fundamental changes outside of these weird, like, 2 big no Brunson units. That's the only like truly dramatic change he's done in terms of lineups. And then within the Josh Hart lineups, he's doing some things that he didn't do as often during the regular season. So he's not like completely just like twiddling his thumbs and sitting on his hands, which is cool because that's another like 1 or 2%. But like,
Prez noted, Tibbs psychophant here, right? By the way,
yeah, exactly. I'm mostly just not thinking about Boston, to be honest, because like these things do give us more of a chance, but Boston is still Boston. Like, to me the gap is still massive. So it's not like these like, oh, we can play through a little toughness or play through bad refs or make some minor scheme adjustments. Like this stuff is all like, if it was any other coach, this would be like the minimum, right? Like if this was any other almost contender, like, yeah, no shit, you would want them to be able to play through a hostile crowd with bad refs and a team that hacks, because eventually most teams are going to face that in the playoffs, right? That's what a lot of low seed teams do, right? Look at the Magic right now. Jaylen Brown was out here talking about, like, do they want to fight? Like, do the Magic actually want to fight? Because the Magic are even more hacks than Detroit. They're even more football players, because the difference between the Magic and the Pistons is the Pistons are handsy. The Magic are actually a bunch of like guys who probably could have played football and shit like that. Like, unlike, except for Jalen Duren, like everybody else on the Pistons is like a long boy who's just way too fucking jacked up and excited all the time. Like it's, I don't know. It gives me like a little more confidence that, you know, maybe they can fuck with them or take a game, but like big scheme, big picture for me is there's still too much to overcome. But I'm also biased, right? I'm like the one guy on the Strickland who actually projected us to lose this series, right? And like for many reasons, like I did a whole thread on like if we win the series here, I know, right? I did a thread that was basically like,
wait, you actually thought we'd lose?
Yes,
he's big brain. That's why.
It was definitely a bit of big brain shit, but like I did a second thread that was like, if we win, these are some of the reasons why we'll probably win. And there's a lot of the shit that we're seeing. The thing I discounted the most was like how stupid the Pistons are. And like maybe that's the same point everybody else was making on like this is an inexperienced team, right? Like they're gonna turn.
Well, they also lack. They have two shot creators. We have one, but ours is more incredible. But like, there's just you see it, and like even Beasley and Hardaway can go cold, and
their offense is terrible. Like straight up. Like the reason I thought they would win is because I don't think our offense is particularly good coming into the playoffs, right? Like,
but there's more talent there, right? Like all five starters are a threat to go for 20 in a night.
Yes, yeah. The talent is like is night and day. Like there's it was just where I was at on how we use the talent. Like in like my expectation was like they're gonna completely ignore Josh Hart. Tibbs is not going to leverage that at all. Josh Hart's not going to leverage that at all. And to use this specific thing as an example, not only has Tibbs leveraged it a little bit, but sometimes the Pistons just don't really ignore Josh Hart. Sometimes they do, but like in the fourth quarter in game 3 and 4, there were many big plays where Jalen Duren and Tobias Harris were on Josh Hart and they just like pretty much stuck with him, even though they were not supposed to. Like they were just like dumb, you know? And I was like, oh, in my head coming into the series, I was like, surely a team prepared for the playoffs, you know, is not going to be that stupid. But again, 21-year-olds and JB Bickerstaff, there you go.
Well, can we talk about Tobias Harris for a second? Because the gall to fucking get in Towns' face when he wasn't saying anything. Bro, you stole $180 million from the Sixers. You played this same team last season and averaged what?
He's a man of the people. I don't think any basketball player steals money from an organization. If anything, the organization is stupid enough to give Tobias Harris that much money, and you shouldn't blame just a man of the people for getting his check. Stacey.
I think there is a little bit of self-awareness that needs to happen there. And I get it. It's gamesmanship. You're trying to get in Cat's head. It worked a little bit. Like Cat went on tilt for some parts of this game. Like I don't think it's a coincidence that most of Cat's
he was playing like a huge asshole for like 8 minutes there, and I thought we were fucked.
Well, and the thing is, most of Cat's great plays came on like, I have to shoot this. The shot clock is running down. I have to take this fadeaway. I have to take this insane shot. When he was actually processed, and I'm not saying Cat is a bad processor, but today, yes, in that third quarter, it became. I think he's very composed mentally. He doesn't get text like that, but you could see that there was something that changed in his process, which was he kept
it's called Jalen Brunson was on the court, and he was like, "I don't have to shoot if it's 3 people, and I can be I can end the possession rather than just begin it." Because you could see with the no Brunson lineups, he was just like, I basically have to take the ball from the 3-point line to the hoop and then do whatever it takes to draw a foul or a score, and I'm not passing it. Like, and the Pistons were like, okay, we'll triple team you and
foul the shit out of you, but it wasn't
foul the
gonna
crap out of you, right? And he was just like, I'm just gonna go up, and it was at that point that like, it's like, okay, like I understand why you don't want to pass to Campaign and Deuce right now or Josh Hart. Like,
was Tyrese right about Deuce?
No,
right about
he's
Deuce.
not.
We were saying
No.
that like we were talking about this earlier because Deuce. This is where most of Deuce's minutes come in this series. 2 big lineups with him and Campaign. So, like, Deuce is very good, but he's not a star player. So if you're not a star player, like you need to, like you can't just be thrown into any random fucking lineup and be good, right? Like, and to be clear, like,
but some of
like
the stuff he was doing was like jumping too early, getting lost on Malik Beasley, which was really the most eye-opening thing. You know, he missed one open 3, whatever that happens, but
he definitely had a couple
doesn't feel like last year's
possessions.
But that stuff is independent of the lineup, you know.
In the first half, Deuce was great on defense. Deuce was not on Cade; he was on Schroder. And
you mean Beasley? Sorry.
No, he was on Schroder for a stretch.
No, you said the first half. You said Payne. I mean, you mean Beasley, right?
I meant Deuce was on Schroder.
Yeah, and then the second half he was on Beasley. Yeah,
yes,
what you're saying is Deuce was on Beasley more in the second half, which caused some issues, and then he was on Schroder in the first half.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought he did actually a great job, and because I don't trust any of our guards, to be frank, on Schroder. Like Mikal.
To be frank, I see what you did there.
I see what you did there. Good one.
Yeah, Frank would have locked him up. Everyone knows this, but like
we all know this. He locked up Luka. We all know this.
This goes without saying. But like, yeah, he definitely had some rough moments in the second half on defense. But like, to me, I'm more sympathetic because the thing that made Deuce's playoffs last year so noteworthy to me was how much offense he provided by jump shooting. Right, like if you go look at, like he made some layups and stuff, and we were like, oh, has Deuce's finishing taken a leap? Like we were all asking that after the playoffs. But if you actually go look at his finishing stats in the playoffs last year, they weren't good. He had like a couple games in a row of good finishing, and then versus the Pacers came back down to earth. But what he was good at was like hitting handoff threes, hitting transition threes, doing shit like that. And he's not like in these weird, like, okay, go be the point guard with Mitchell Robinson and Karl Anthony Towns out there versus a good defense, right? Like not the Pacers defense. This is actually a good defense. And like it's hard because he's not an initiator like that. Like, so he's being asked to do shit that he doesn't normally do. But I will say I was happy. I was telling Drew this before, like we actually did get to see him play with Brunson a little bit today, which was cool because we hadn't seen that, I don't think, in the first 3 games.
I don't think so either.
He didn't really score because of it, but like that was part of the reason why his plus minus ended up being positive, is because like generally when you put those two together, like good shit happens, right? We got a couple of years of data showing. It would be nice to see him fucking hit some shots though, but like that just requires like the Knicks running and hitting him, or him coming off of handoffs and like him just being created opportunities to score, which is like the 1-3 he had. I was like, oh, we're fucking back, baby. Like this is perfect.
That's because as Hawkeye 420, great number. It's a hooked on iso ball. I don't know if it's actually he's hooked on iso ball. I just think there's a very strong correlation between turnovers and isolation, in that you minimize turnovers playing isolation. Tibbs just hates turnovers. It's as simple as that. He just hates turnovers.
That's like saying there's a really strong correlation between me like taking an edible and feeling good, and that's why I'm hooked on edibles. Like it's the same shit, bro. He's hooked on iso ball.
I'm just saying I'm just trying to potentially repaint the same picture. Basically.
Well, it's why his favorite player was Jimmy Butler. Yeah. Notoriously low turnover, gets the line a ton. That is the ideal player, right? So,
can you imagine him coaching Cade? He would like blow his brains out.
It'd be kind of funny though.
Cade has more turnovers than like entire Tibbs teams.
Well, I mean, he coached Randall, and it was. I mean, I'm not going to say Cade has been as bad as Randall. Cade has had some incredible moments. He's also what 21 or 23 now, but your first
19.
playoff series. What?
Nothing. Just keep going. I'm just making fun of Prez.
I think he'll be fine. I think Tibbs would like coaching Cade because of the mid range. Like he has a style that's averse to turnovers. They just happen at very random moments. But he's he's a young guy. So Cade,
they use Cade in the middle of the court and ask him to make really tough passes, which is why he turns it over a lot. And you're right. Like I think if he was with Tibbs would not be like, all right, why don't you go to the most dangerous part of the court, take inefficient shots, and try to pass to all your teammates who don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like I love Cade and he's a great passer, but like what they ask him to do, like,
I mean, a lot of these are like Assar is not in the right spot. Tobias is
exactly.
I'm sure most of the turnovers are, if you look at it like that, right? Like that.
Yeah, but it's just like he's asked to make such high difficulty reads. Like the only guys who can do that stuff and not turn it over excessively are like LeBron James, Luka Doncic, like James Harden. It's like those guys, right? Like if you ask Jalen Brunson if you ask Jalen Brunson to like do the kind of passes they ask Cade to do, and they ask him to do that because he can't get to the rim like Brunson, right? Like that's why it's just like take a mid-range shot or make a tough pass. Like they don't I feel like the Pistons don't realize like with somebody who can't really get to the rim like that, you're putting them in a dangerous situation by just being like, hey, only guy the defense is going to focus on, like, go to the part where the entire defense can focus on you, like in the middle of the court. Like, why not go more from the sides, right? Like, shit like that. I do want to highlight this comment. Randall, right now, I'm not watching, but it's halftime, up 61-58, 21 points at the half for big boy Randall, 7 for 11, 3 of 4
from 4.
No turnovers. What do we think?
Oh, my boy's cooking.
I try to tell y'all. Yeah, y'all could roast me for picking wrong for the Knicks series, but if the Wolves win, I'm coming out this first round even, bro, because I had them beating the Lakers. I don't care how many stomach bugs Luka does or does not have.
I mean, I think every bad playoff series Randall had, there was a rim protector waiting for him at the rim, and they had good defensive wings. I think LeBron and Luka, they have, even guys like Rui, they have capable defensive wings, but without that rim protector there, you have to play him differently, right? With Atlanta, they had Capella waiting everywhere he went. They either put Bam on him or he was waiting. Cleveland, they could put they had the best of both worlds, right? They could put Mobley, who is in himself very difficult to score against, and you have Allen waiting. Without that, he can be a pretty good player. Does that make up for everything he takes away on defense? He has 1 assist. It's not like he's running the show, but can he be a good player, playoff player? Yeah, and also you have to kind of take this into account. I mean, experience matters. Like Porzingis, who seems to have the most playoff-proof games, be big, block shots, and take fucking threes, is struggling on a fucking loaded team. Those things kind of happen in time. Do I think does that mean that Randall can be the second best player on a championship team? Maybe not. But is he like this doomed to be a fucking terrible all the time? Probably not, So, and it's the same thing with Cat, right? Cat had some ugly playoff performances when he was the guy. Looked a lot better next to Ant. Looks even much better next to Jalen Brunson and, in an offense with a lot of different guys. And he's more experienced. We kind of shortchanged that part of it, right? A guy who's bad at 27 may not be bad at 31. So,
yeah, no, I think that's a really good way of putting it. I just feel like they just at the center spot are a really good matchup for the Wolves. Like, what's his name? Jackson Hayes.
I was going to say, you're not a big fan of Jackson Hayes at the
and my guy, who's the
Alex
power
Len.
forward range? No, who's the
Jared Vanderbilt.
Jared Vanderbilt, yeah, like Jared Vanderbilt can like sort of fake play defense, but like Randall putting him into the front row, man. Like it's Anthony Edwards, like Randall. They're not worried about Jared Vanderbilt.
Yeah, like who's like the only on the Lakers who probably can match Randall's strength for strength is like LeBron.
Yeah, and LeBron's old now, so like,
And
it's
LeBron's
tough for
old,
him.
so it's like I don't know what like. We also know this with Julius because we've seen him. Like anyone who's not stronger than him, like he's destroying every single time. All you have to do is you have to force doubles on him basically, but like that, that's whatever. We don't have to worry.
It's having a big, but it's anyone who's not stronger than him. But like we saw that with DeAndre Hunter, you can get away with that if you have a Capella just roaming, right?
Mhm.
That's what the Hawks did such a good job of, and that's what Miami was able to do when they didn't have Bam directly on him. So
Yeah, if only the Lakers had Mark Williams or someone like that. Alas, it is not meant to be. I want to get to this comment from H22. OG offensively, this game was pissing me off, man. At least with Mikal, he was just missing. OG was trying to take layups on 2 or 3 guys. Yeah, I think we definitely had a couple instances of OG just being like, it's OG time, people. Like, I haven't shot in a while. A lot of that also came during the weird lineups where OG was the 5 and there was no Cat or Brunson. So like, and Mikal's not gonna be like, oh, time for me to create. Not in 2025. So OG's is like, definitely OG knew like, all right, none of the other 4 players here are gonna do it, so I have to do it. But he was kind of, I don't think he was prepared, so he was kind of like doing everything a little too frantically, too sped up, and he was just like, there was just some ugly shot. It wasn't like when Brunson was out for that stretch at the end of the season, and like it was more predictable, and OG was like, okay, I know I'm gonna have to score more. I'm gonna alternate between like speed and power and footwork. He was just like, fuck, I'm at the 5. Also, I'm our best scorer now, apparently. So like, I'm just gonna, and I think he definitely, I don't want to say he panicked, but it was just good effort, ugly results.
The defense was there. I think that's really what at least for me, it's what I care most about. Is just if he's competing on defense, it's probably more important than anything else right now.
Here, me and Drew talked about this, but we've had some quotes from JB Bickerstaff and now Tim Hardaway Jr.
No, this is senior, I think.
I mean senior, my bad. So Stacey, curious if you have a response to any of these.
Your best friend Tim Hardaway Sr.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it was a miscall. Like we said 100 times, that's the way the game was called. You want the 90s back? You want to call this new generation soft? All that, live with it, right? You probably would have said, "Oh, Jalen Brunson, I got hacked all the time. I didn't complain." He didn't complain. He had 2 free throws. He still cooked your team. He was hitting everything while getting fucking mugged. Karl Anthony Towns, showed the composure to not put up with, to not get baited by Tobias Harris's bullshit. I mean, let's fucking call it as it is, right? The Pistons may not be a dirty team. They made a bunch of dirty ass plays. This was their, and that's 100%. Fine. That they like, and I don't want to go that hard on Duren because I have been hard on his actual game, but a lot of those plays are like, are you just clumsy?
He's just it was like dirty in the sense of like reckless. Like I don't think on most of these plays the Pistons were like, I'm gonna try to fucking injure people, but they were doing the kind of plays.
But I'm not gonna avoid doing that. Yeah,
exactly. Where it's like,
yeah,
I'm not thinking about what'll happen as a result of the stuff that I do. I'm just trying to get people out the way. I'm just trying to get the ball.
I mean, think about,
you know what I mean? Like,
think about like there's Heat fans will still bring this up. Josh Hart, where Butler got hurt, right? Josh Hart's going into him. I think that was a bang play, but they still bring that up. Can you imagine if someone on the Knicks, like Schroder, I do not think was trying to injure Brunson. He fell on his leg, right? Those kind of plays, that's exactly what we're talking about, Prez, right? Where it's like, it's reckless. It's and you end up with shit like this. It's not unique to the Pistons. We saw what happened to Ja, right? But for any Pistons fan, really, and I think to their credit, a lot of the ones I've talked to have said, you know what, we had a good look for Cade at the end of the game. This is how it was called. Some of them might even admit that Hardaway was actually trying to foul bait. That's how the game was called, and that was an advantage for the Pistons for most of the game. Like if they don't call the game that way, especially in the third quarter, the Knicks might run away with this.
Mm-hmm.
My belief is they would have run away with it.
Here's a quote from Kat. This is great for kids watching who haven't been able to see old school basketball to see this kind of reminiscent game of old school physicality. I'm just honored to be a part of it. Honestly, I don't know if it's great for kids, but
it's not great for kids. Listen,
the
old heads were always wrong about the physicality being great.
But I think it's a little tongue in cheek, though, right? It's like, this is what you wanted. Why are you complaining now? That's how
I think you hit it
right now. I didn't want this.
Unsubscribe. No, you hit it on the head, Stacey. It's funny. Like, I don't know if Tim Hardaway Sr. is one of the old heads who's always like, "Oh, this game is so soft," because like I don't actually keep track of what Tim Hardaway Sr. says. But
he did have some things to say about general progressive nature of humanity. But I actually will say this.
I know too much about what Tim Hardaway thinks about not basketball, and not enough about what Tim Hardaway thinks about actual.
Yeah, I have no idea what he thinks about non-basketball stuff.
But I'm talking about a general traditional mindset. I will say that he has taken more pains to like remedy that by doing work with other programs. But if I had to guess his bent, it would be towards things were always good before and change is bad.
Right, like most of the old heads, this is what they say, and then like
this is what they want.
This is what they want, and it's like, yo, just because your fucking favorite team was
this
the
was
victim of
Detroit
this mentality.
basketball.
I mean, Brunson shot 2 fucking free throws in that game. Are you serious? Like
there were some of the drives, some of those fourth quarter buckets, like they showed the replays, and he was hit so like blatantly that
every single time.
Man.
But I mean that makes him kind of so incredible. Like I still like I don't think we're gonna be able to like I don't even want to like shit talk people like Melo or whatever. We haven't had a star like this since
I love Melo. I know that makes
me
a hated minority in the Strickland.
I like Melo too. I grew up a Syracuse fan. I rooted for him. There is no way Melo is winning this game. And let's be clear, Brunson won this game. Cat had the big shots. Brunson had some mishaps on defense, but he's getting dry humped for 94 feet constantly. He shoves after like everything, which fine, let it go. And he does that after getting hurt. And yeah, I do think he was really hurt.
Crazy.
That is fucking insane. I do not think we've seen a New York Knicks performance like that since at least the 90s. I never saw that during, Melo had some great games. He did put the team on his back at times, but there was the Chicago Easter game. There were performances like that, but
I didn't realize, I didn't know Easter was in the playoffs. Was Easter in the playoffs?
It can be. It was this year. The flip side is you look at this game and how ugly it was, and we have a guy that can do that. We have another guy. Like that's really the difference right now is that we have two guys that even when like you can't run this beautiful offense, and to the point you've made about Tibbs a lot, Prez, like that's probably not enough, but it is kind of incredible that we have two of these guys and we never seem to have one, or we had one kind of in Melo for so long. And I can't say enough about what Brunson did. And I think I'll highlight this. The most impressive play, the two most impressive plays were that fucking heat check 3, which I did not want him to take, but he made it. The other one that I will not get talked about was waving off Bridges, getting into an ISO, and then the fucking cross court pass to Cat. I want you to talk about this, Press, because that was beautiful. Like, and Cat, and like, I was like, all right, Cat, you got to make this. This is the best look you've had all game. You're at 3-point line, not 5 feet behind. And
it was shocking. So nice. It was shocking because, like, I think because of Randall and Melo and, just even Brunson himself at times, we're used to, like, if it's clearly, like, put it on the table, like, game time, like, we're not used to, like, oh, Jordan made the pass type shit from Knicks. And the last 2 games, Brunson has very much balanced, like, I'm going to dominate you, but for every 4 buckets I get in the fourth, I'm going to have 1 assist that's like a high-value assist. Like, he's aware to the degree that which he's, collapsing the defense and stuff like that. And Cat, to your credit, he's the one other Knick who basically, if he's wide open, it's almost automatic, right? Like the other Knicks are very good shooters, but Cat's just like in his own fucking tier. And like,
And Mikal Bridges is apparently J.R. Smith when he's falling out of bounds, but when he's got a wide open shot, he's Andre Roberson, apparently.
Yeah, no, not. He's directly tied to degree of difficulty during this series, apparently. Mid-range shots and threes only while moving. But no, that pass, I was like, oh my God, he passed it. Oh my God, he made the shot. Oh my God. And then like, that was big. I mean, like, it's hard for me to even, like, that was huge. To me, the craziest one was just the off the dribble Cat one. As somebody who has just like looked at the stats and literally looked at all the like video for every type of Cat 3, like he's been dog shit at off the dribble threes all year, like below 20%. But I was like, I knew as soon as I saw the look, I was like, I know he's gonna shoot that shit. And he shot that shit and it went in, man. That shit was crazy, bro. But like that shot, and then like the fadeaway. The fadeaway was from behind the backboard.
Yes,
like,
it was.
Like yes, in the crunch time. Like, did you like that? Is like in terms of audacity, like the Jalen Brunson pull up is pretty crazy. But like, I might have to say the most audacious shot was that Cat fadeaway, because shooting a crunch time shot from behind the backboard is like objectively like batshit. Like, you want to talk J.R. Smith confidence levels? My God, it's like that was crazy. He just every game he does this shit. Like I feel like because we have Brunson and like you said, Stacey, like Knicks fans have never seen anything like this, including Melo. So like it almost overshadows just how bonkers Town shot making is. Like, this guy did a pull-up 3 as a 7-footer, a fadeaway behind the backboard, and like a jelly roll insane reverse layup. Like all in the same game. In addition to like his regular array of floaters while fucking
he was 5 for 7 from threes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
he's
and that last one, I'm not even gonna lie. That last one, I was like, fuck. Because he got shoved out of his position by Duren and he just fired it up. And when he rushes them, sometimes I think he misses, but
even just watching him, like I was watching like the video of him just like warming up before the game. And like, people have different shot techniques and stuff, but like when he shoots threes, it literally like it looks like a free throw. He's just like, he barely jumps, he barely moves, and he just like flicks it. And then when he pulls from like the logo, it's like, oh, I have to jump like slightly now for the first time. Like,
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, his 3-pointers look easier than Bridges' free throws.
They do.
Nothing about Bridges' game looks. I tell people all the time, like Julius Randle will always be the most confounding Knick I've ever watched. For me personally, Mikal Bridges is currently number 2. Like, his game is equal parts awesome and inexplicable to me, and I'll never understand it. Towns' game I understand. It's just like breaks my brain. It's just how his shot making is just so bonkers.
Yeah, it's kind of like this comment. I don't understand this comment. Melo tried to carry the Knicks in Game 6 in Indy. What do you do? Try to carry them to a loss? Because that's what he did. Carried them to a loss.
I mean, that was the one where he had
congrats on that. You know what Jalen Brunson did? He led them to a win today.
Brunson is just a different level. Like, the thing about Melo
I'm just saying that
I'm a big
Melo may try. Brunson does. There's a difference between trying and doing. Like, I won my USTA doubles league. You know what I mean? Like, I did it. I didn't try to win it. I did it. Like, there's
You're basically Jalen Brunson. You're basically
Jalen. I'm smoking you in singles, buddy. I'm smoking you. When is this matchup having? When is this matchup having? Are you 6'2"? I got a big serve, buddy. I'm Carlos fucking Alcaraz. Let's go.
I'm cooking you on the tennis court. I'm cooking you on the basketball court. I'm cooking you on the volleyball court. I'm cooking you on the baseball court. It doesn't really matter what court.
One of those has nothing to do with height besides the serve, and I can return. Let's go.
If you say so.
Put the money up. We'll live stream it.
I was smoking this. He had to be in his 60s. I was like bombing serves at like the 60-year-old. It was really funny.
hope
I
you
got
feel
to play Schwinn because I used to be really good friends with his doubles partner who he did used to smoke me, but sometimes I got little advantages against Schwinn. But sorry, Prez, you were
I'm smoking him too. I'll beat both you two at the same time. It doesn't matter.
that's racist.
I would just say yeah, the colonizer over here, colonizer McGee. Yeah, no, I was just saying like the difference to me between Melo is like Melo could carry a team for stretches with hot shot making, but like that's actually not what the best players do in the playoffs. The best players know how to like be a force while also lifting their teammates, and that is the difference, right? With Brunson and Melo on offense, like Melo is not making that pass to Cat, like he's just not, and like it's not to say that he can't.
He's going to jab step about 5 times, then take a nice little shot inside the arc for a nice brick. That's what Melo's going to do.
His talent. It was never. At least for me personally, like it was never about talent or skill with Melo. It was just about
him
like
had great passing games, right? He could
his
pass.
talent. When he put his mind to it, he was a fucking amazing passer. And it's just like it just wasn't. It's almost like the kind of player who he was a number one on our team. And he's different than Randall. They're way different players, but like
Randall's better. Randall's done more for the Knicks than Melo's ever done.
They're similar in the sense that like both of them are not doing anything as the number one option. They're just not.
You mean both of them are bums exactly. One's a better bum than the other.
Randall did not lead us to fucking 54 wins. All right, and they lost to Paul George and a good Pacers team that took the Heatles to 7. Right. Let's pump the brakes on that a little bit.
No.
Yeah. Melo is like he just like if you have somebody else to do the thing where they're lifting where somebody else is a co-star who is the tide that lifts all boats, Melo would have looked a lot better, but he was a self-styled first option, and most importantly, coaches and GMs subscribe to that, right? Like that's what they subscribe to. Like
I think like it's a very
look at him. Amari's the same thing, right? Like Brandon in the chat mentioned Amari is the same thing. He's not a guy who his tide does not lift all boats. But so we had 2 guys who were number 2s and no number 1. Amari's best success came where he had somebody else who was the tide that lifted all boats. So like
the same thing about Melo with the Western Conference Finals. He had Billups, a better version of Billups. Like
that's the thing. Like you get way more mileage out of those guys, even when you get fucking Billups, who was not like a superstar at that time. Like,
but he was a compliment, right? Like he was a compliment to Melo.
Yeah, he was still nice. But like Brunson, to his credit, he can do the takeover thing while simultaneously lifting everyone else, which is bonkers. You're not supposed to be able to do both those things on offense. Like the only guys who can do both those things on offense are the guys who we consider like the best offensive players of a generation. And that's the reason why Brunson is on the outside of these convo. Like nobody's gonna take Brunson over Giannis or Jokic on the whole. But in terms of offense, like he's right up there with any of these fucking guys when he's going well. And then that's without even getting into the fact that like, again, we are not even playing 5 out. We're not even playing 4 out half the time for him. Like, could you imagine if if it was him with the 5 out lineup that we all want but never get, right? With like Deuce, Mikal, OG, Cat, like he's unstoppable with guys helping off of Hart. What the fuck is going to happen if he ever gets true 5 out? Like, it's going to be insane. I don't know if we'll ever get it, but like, it just goes to show you that like, he's so good that in suboptimal conditions, he can not only take over a game on offense, but make everybody else a lot better without even being like optimized. That's a crazy level of talent. And that's just what like, bro, I gotta bring this up. J.R. Smith had to be number 2. I'll never forget that 6th man of the year season that JR had where he was like,
that was a good season.
You know what ruined it?
Huh?
The Jason Terry fucking elbow ruined it all. After that,
you're 100% correct. 100% correct. He had like like 250 days of like low key kind of smart basketball. Like, oh, I'm going into the post, I'm penetrating and not just settling. And then Jason Terry hit him in the head and like unloosened the long dormant CTE that was like gone for that season.
Well, you know what his most there's this play. I don't know if you've seen this. Buzz. There's this play where he was getting back on defense, and then Jason Terry on the Bucks. So Smith's on the Cavs, Jason Terry's on the Bucks. Jason Terry's like, "Yo, what up?" And then JR leaves the court to dap him up. He's guarding, of all people, Tony Snell, known most for like the most minutes without doing literally anything on the court. And Snell's like, "What? I'm open." And he gets a dunk while JR is dapping up Jason Terry. And it's funny because like Kyrie's on the team, still on the Cavs early in his career, like trying to be serious. And he's like, "Who the fuck at him?" That's one of the funniest plays to me. Getting back to the Melo convo, I think it's almost like if you had like if you had like Jimi Hendrix as like this insane soloist, but he couldn't play like, like a great guitarist can elevate the band if you play with them, if you play in a certain way that can get them to like kind of, you have a mediocre drummer, but he's good at a certain type of solo or whatever. You play in a certain way that enriches that, right? Most players either fit into that category or they fit in the category where like with a great lead guitarist or vocalist, I can play along and elevate to that level. It's like, what Brunson is doing is very rarefied air in that he can be the guy that is is very loud, but is also bringing other guys up to his level. Like, I don't think Melo makes that pass. I think Melo, look at the mental toughness, right? Brunson whines to the refs, yes, but he's not getting into, like, he handled everything that they threw at him. Like, what that guy gets put through every game. And if you want to blame Tibbs a little bit for it, for sure. But, like, he's just getting the shit beat out of him. And there's this whole narrative that he's a foul baiter. So, like, the refs are kind of, I think, feeding into that. And to still come up and get the win, that is insane. And yeah, like you can argue that, well, Melo was using J.R. Smith as number two. Cat was on full tilt in that third quarter. Jalen helped get him going a little bit, right? He got him that easy shot.
100%.
He settled that offense down in a way that, and Melo's not a point guard. Part of that is that, right? Like, he grew up in an era where wings were expected to be, like Kobe, right? Which is not, your job is not necessarily to do that. But, I think this is the best Knick. I would say is the best Knick since definitely Ewing. And he's up there with Clyde. He's up there with Bernard King. We haven't had the results yet to kind of, you can't put him up with Clyde without getting a championship, but anyone else, I put him right up there.
Yo, do y'all have the ability? Quick technical question here.
Oh god, this is probably where we should end the stream.
Y'all could keep going. I just don't know if it ends the thing. If I leave the studio, I think
last time I was with Khan, it didn't end it. So,
all right. Well, I'm gonna bounce. This has been fun, and
I think that's what we should do.
Okay. Yeah, I think we can close it out here unless there's any comments you want to get to. But
yeah, I'll say is we got 1,300 people apparently watching us bullshit, which is like incredible to me.
Wild,
go Knicks,
wild stuff.
Like I said before, Detroit tears, Michigan tears, Great Lakes tears, ref tears,
Michigan State tears.
Michigan State. I ain't got no dog in that fight. I'll take both.
Nah, I hate that state. I hate everything it represents.
Michigan is cool. I just don't like their basketball team. I actually like the
Pistons. How can you like a state that doesn't have two parts that are connected to one another?
What do you mean?
You got the yuppers or whatever the hell they're called up in Wisconsin, and then you got the lower people called the lowers. I don't know, something like that, right?
People from the UPers, they talk differently. They got.
Have you ever been to upstate New York?
They don't talk.
I don't mean Westchester. I mean upstate.
No, unfortunately, yeah. Unfortunately, it's a terrible place.
That's Schwinn's football team. That's where Schwinn lives.
Like to stand on here. Schwinn lives in upstate. 100%.
You consider where Schwinn lives upstate?
Yes.
That is, I think, a point of differentiation.
Everywhere north of Yonkers to me is fucking upstate. All right,
Yeah,
bro.
Preston's right. Everything, anything that is upstate, like going up like the Parkway for New Jersey, like once you get to like the port, like that's upstate. It's upstate New York.
All right. Game 5. New York.
They
I
better.
think they'll win. It would be an extraordinary level of resilience for Detroit to somehow come
I
out,
would
make the
agree.
necessary adjustments, and outplay the Knicks.
And they won't get the same whistle.
No, they won't.
No,
Not
not after this not after this disaster of a cheating game, but they're not. They're gonna crack down on shit.
Yeah, it's more likely to be like the last game or something in the middle than a repeat of this, I think.
Yeah, it's not going to be this again. It was way too physical, and everyone like lost their cool. It's not happening again. Definitely not.
Yeah. All right, dudes. Thanks for tuning in. Stacy, Drew, thanks for rocking with us. And everybody, thanks for fucking with the Strickland. We will see you next time.